My husband's job keeps him on the road a lot, so we didn't have much family time. But he's super committed to his work, and I've always admired that and rolled with it. Then, out of the blue, he gave me a call. When I answered, he sounded all mixed up, saying, "Something's up with our front door. My key's not working." Without missing a beat, I said, "Oh, I moved out yesterday. I shipped your stuff over to your parents' house." "What?" I could practically hear his jaw drop over the line. "Hold on. Why would you do this without giving me a heads up?" I started explaining. "It's because you..." Upon hearing my story, his voice went colder than I'd ever heard. "I'm Rachel, 33 years old. I'm a nurse, hustling every day. It's just me, my husband Josh, and our little girl Karen at home in our apartment. Josh and we go way back from our college days. He was the guy everyone noticed. Super driven, always on his game, and a total catch. I sometimes wonder how a regular girl like me snagged him. We stayed strong post-college, and fast forward, he popped the question, and we got married 5 years back. Karen popped into our lives the following year. Our daily life is pretty smooth sailing, with barely any squabbles. To an outsider, we probably look like a dream team. But there is a little wrinkle. Josh runs this small company and is all in. He works late nights. He even slept at the office when things were hectic. He does remember to send gifts for birthday or Christmas, but he's never there for actual moments. He's flaked on us a bunch because work's pulled him away. I get his work's intense, so I try not to sweat the small stuff. But it tugs at my heartstrings when Karen says, "I guess Daddy's not coming back home tonight." And here's the kicker. For the crazy hour he works, his paycheck's kind of light. We're not scraping by or anything, but I foot most of our bills. He did once say, "Look, business is tough right now, with the economy and all. I hate dumping everything on you. I really do." I told him, "No need to feel bad. I'm just worried about you burning out." "Trust me, I'm tougher than I look. Stick with me a bit longer. Once things level out, you can ditch that grueling nurse job." He seemed genuinely remorseful, and honestly, that made me second-guess my concerns. I figured maybe I'm being too hard on him with the money thing. I chose to back him up even more. But then, something went down that rocked my world. That particular day was total mayhem at the hospital, with emergency left and right. Doctors were on edge, and us nurses were hustling non-stop. Being the newbie, I was still trying to fit in. Just when you think things couldn't get crazier, a bunch of critically injured patients rolled in. Among them was this toddler, maybe 2, out cold after a car accident. His probable mom was with him, looking white as sheet. Over and over she pleaded, "Stay with me, Dan!" My heart just broke, thinking of my own kid. All I could do was hope and pray for him. The ER was buzzing, and I was right there, assisting in surgery. Every medical professional at the scene was giving it their all to save this little kid's life. A few hours in, we successfully wrapped up the surgery. I headed over to the family waiting area to update them on the boy's condition. As I got closer, I was riding high on relief that the little guy was okay. But I wasn't ready for what came next. As I neared the room, I overheard the woman chatting with a guy, likely her husband. I was about to jump in and update them when I saw the guy she was with. Hold on. Was that... Yep, there he was, My husband, Josh. I'd recognize him anywhere, and he was even wearing the suit I picked out for his business trips. Eavesdropping a bit, his voice was unmistakable.
The call about Dan's accident nearly gave me a heart attack. Thank goodness he's alright.
I'm sorry. I just looked away for a second and then he was in the street.
Hey, I've been gone a lot, leaving you to do the heavy lifting with parenting. I can't put this on you. Let's just be grateful he's okay.
He then pulled her into a hug. My brain was in overdrive. What the heck was happening? Why was Josh there? Did he just say parenting? Does that mean? As much as I didn't want to think it, the pieces seemed to fit one way. Josh had another life I didn't know about. After that surprise, I was a mess at work, slipping up left and right, which wasn't my style. The head nurse didn't let it slide. I took her critique. I mean, she was right, but I could tell she was worried.
Rachel, you're off today. What's up?
Taking a deep breath, I told her. She offered to do a little digging for me and suggested I go home for the day. My head wasn't in the game at home either, and just as I was piecing things together, Josh called. Hey, everything's okay there? Playing it cool, I responded. He came back with,
Look, something's come up with my trip. I'll be away another week. Can you hold down the fort with Karen?
The nerve of him! But I didn't want to tip him off without more info, so I played along. Got it. Do what you've got to do. Just stay safe, okay? He sounded genuinely thankful, saying,
I owe you one.
After we hung up, I gave myself a little pep talk. I didn't want to believe the worst, but I couldn't just brush this off. For me and Karen, I needed answers. It was go time. Come next morning, the head nurse had a scoop. Turns out she's gotten close with the boy's mom, Jennifer. Jennifer works at a bar, and that's where she ran into Josh. He made the first move. They hit it off, and before long, they were married, especially after she got pregnant. And according to the head nurse, Jennifer is clueless about Josh's other life. I thanked her for the information. Seriously, thank you for this. Sorry to drag you into my drama. I've got it from here. She said, Anytime you need to chat, I'm here. I am lucky to have a great boss like her. Wanting to talk to Jennifer, I popped into the boy's room and saw her right there, constantly attending to him. She was comforting the kid who was restless and unable to get up. It's okay. When you're all better, we'll go out and play. Even though she's involved with my husband, she's a mom first. Seeing her like that, I just couldn't blame her. I get the whole mom thing. When I had a break, I went up to her. Hi there. It's great to see your son getting better. Here's hoping he bounces back soon. Oh, Rachel, right? Thank you. I'm just so relieved he's okay. You look worn out. Make sure you're not pushing yourself too hard. How about taking a little break? I led her to the break room and decided to probe about Josh. Your husband's really there for you guys. I see him with your son daily. He's super involved. Her reply threw me for a loop. Well, he's often traveling for work as a photographer. Hold up. Photographer? Did I ever see Josh with a camera? Wait, he did buy a high-end one for Karen's preschool event. He must have spun that into this photographer story. I felt dumb for buying his line about just wanting to snap pictures of our daughter. Turns out, according to Jennifer, he's got some debt, and once that's settled, they are getting officially married. While he griped about making less due to the economy, he was also bankrolling her family. No wonder his funds seemed stretched. He was fooling me. Here I was, thinking I was helping him through tough times. It's not just me, even Jennifer got played by him. I'll never let that slide. A week later, I get a call from Josh post his business trip. He sounded totally lost. Rachel, something's up with our front door. My key's not working. Think it's jammed. Can you let me in? Sorry, can't do that. We're not there. Hold up. Aren't you off today? Where'd you go? I shot back with, We moved out yesterday. I sent our stuff to my folks' place. Your things have been shipped to your parents. Best check in with them. He sounded blindsided. What? You left? Why on earth? I heard everything from Jennifer. Juggling 2 families, huh? Explains the small paychecks. If you're supporting 2 households, of course you're broke. You're consistently inconsistent. Whoa. How did you find out about Jennifer? He sounded flat out frantic. Hello, I work at the hospital where your other kid had his surgery. It dawned on him, his son landed in my workplace. I had told him I switched hospitals, but it must have slipped his mind. Figures with all his sneaking. Cutting ties with someone like that, the sooner the better. So I ditched the house lease under my name and went back to my parents with my daughter. Once he pieced everything together, Josh was falling over himself to apologize. Give me a chance to explain. I'm at work right now. We'll handle this with our attorneys. With that, I ended the call. No point in hearing excuses over the phone. But then, to my surprise, he showed up at the hospital. Where's my wife? He yelled, causing a scene. Thankfully, the waiting room was empty at the time. I filled the head nurse in, took a breather, and we headed to a private room. Josh immediately started with his apologies. She kept coming on to me, and one thing led to another. But you're the one I truly love. I promise I will end it with her. Please forgive me. I couldn't believe he tried to pin this on Jennifer. How could he think of just ditching someone he'd been lying to? It's not as easy as just breaking up. You two have a kid. How do you plan on stepping up for that child? He looked desperate. That kid isn't mine. She's saying it is, but it's from her previous relationship. Suddenly, a voice rang out. What did you just say? Jennifer had been hiding behind the door and listening this whole time. Earlier, I told her straight up that I was his wife. At first, she didn't buy it, but our wedding photos and marriage certificate convinced her. She'd apologized profusely, even offered to compensate me. But honestly, I couldn't be mad at her. She was also blindsided by Josh's lies. My plan was to get evidence of their fling from her to use against Josh. Seeing her now, Josh went pale. She challenged him. Are you really saying Dan isn't yours? I've never been with anyone else. Want a paternity test to prove it? Josh couldn't meet her gaze, and she seemed to be telling the truth. Both of us gave him a hard stare. After an awkward silence, he came out with, I care about both of you. I want to support both families. Can't we just keep things as they are? Jennifer and I were floored by his audacity. As I was processing his nonsense, Jennifer beat me to the punch. Are you for real? Just now you denied Dan was yours. We're done, and trust me, I'll be getting child support from you. She stormed out, leaving Josh and me. I took a deep breath and said, I'm with her. After all this, you can't expect things to go back to normal. I truly feel for Jennifer and Dan being fooled by you. We are getting a divorce, and you better be ready to pay up.
But, Rachel, please. I don't want to lose you or Karen.
How can I trust a word you say? You just threw Jennifer and Dan under the bus. This will be handled by our attorneys. Leave, or I'm calling security. He walked out, tears streaming down his face. A month later, Josh and I were officially done. I got a one-time payment of $600,000 for the pain and suffering and another $300,000 for child support. Looks like Jennifer did too. Between that and losing focus at work, Josh's business tanked. Last I heard, he borrowed from some shady people and is now grinding away in a factory with some rough-looking supervisors. As for me and my daughter, we are staying with my folks, living a peaceful life. They dote on Karen, and she's thriving. Through all this, my main goal is to be there for my daughter and be the best mom I can be.